I like to give props where it's deserved. Highlight people who have a talent, something about them that deserves recognition, deserves some focus on their work. Normally independent. I used to do it a lot with my social media. I used to just promote people if I liked them. I come across their content, I thought they stand out, I'd make a post. It doesn't take long, does it? In this instance, though, it's not independent people. This is actually famous people, but it's not for clout or anything. I don't link the people; they wouldn't even know I'm doing it, and that's what I do. I don't do it for that. It's just for this purpose only. Like in this situation, it's not very often I'm going to promote famous people. They've already got their popularity. They don't need it. But in this instance, I just feel this group, and I say group because it's 3 podcasts. It's not just the one, which is why I end up doing it. When it was just one, I was thinking, no, I'm not really going to go through the hassle of doing that, really. But because there's 3, I think it's important because I want to it gives them credit for their work. But I think more than that, it shows people who are not familiar with them that this is entertaining. This is worth watching. Because let's be honest, so many people have podcasts nowadays. I mean, I don't know if we'd consider this a podcast. Probably is. I'm a single player. Most podcasts are dualistic, or there's 3 people, so there's a group. And they banter off, they work off each other, they have a guest. So that's really what a podcast is. Mine's more of a solo, really, thing, just a monologues. Me just talking off the cusp, really, just, I guess, rambling about life. But so mine's a bit different. But with these, per se, like I say, there's so many in the fields that everybody's come out of the woodwork. Whether it's someone famous that's a movie star, whether it's some sports personalities, everybody and everyone. It's easy and it's fast, and everybody can create their own platform. It's almost like become their own little TV network. Wouldn't say it's a bad thing. I think it's great that there's entry levels in the same way I can do it. But I do think there's some people who struggle to articulate. There's mumblers. There's people with poor content. There's people that talk over their guests. There's some really amateurish stuff, even if it's people considering themselves professional. I don't, so I'm quite picky. If I think something's amateurish and I don't like the content, I don't like how they present themselves, I don't really like their personality too much, I'm not going to waste my time listening to them. So I think some people are just so self-indulgent. With these ones specifically, the common denominator against all 3 podcasts is they're all comedians. I like comedians. I like to laugh. So I like the energy they bring. That doesn't mean they're laughing all the time and everything's comedic in nature. It just means that that's their profession, though, to different levels, to varying degrees. But again, we're going to go through them. One of them is one of my favorite TV stars, and I didn't know they had a podcast. I'm looking at one of the videos 2 years ago. I'm thinking, hey, I didn't even know they did a podcast. And that's the crazy thing within like YouTube in general, and even social media. We don't really know everything exists. We only see pockets. So, if I'd known, I would have looked at this sooner. So let's go through them. Like I said, they're already famous people, famous personalities. So this isn't me doing it to try to go, oh, this one's famous, only follow famous people. It's not. It's the fact that they're getting interesting guests who are also in the industry. Again, I'm not enamored by fame, so that's not what interests me. But they are finding guests who are actually interesting, people you actually want to listen to. These aren't people who are just like there just to posture and be superficial. This is actually quality content. And again, they have got similar guests, so that's what I would say. There are overlapping guests, I guess. Someone that's been there, someone's been there, someone's been there. But again, I find it all quite curious, quite interesting. And let's be honest, there's some really crap ones out there. Some really crap content creators out there. So this is just really good. So let's have a little look. We're going to go through them. I will link to their YouTube. So I'll link it in the description of my video so people can, easily source them. Or of course, you'll be able to look for yourself. So let me just get this ready. Let's have a little look. So this one's Steve Carell, but it's not his channel. It's Amy. I can't pronounce her name. She said it already on there. Poehler. She's in there. I know her from 2 films, personally. I mean, she's been in other things as well. I remember her from Sisters. I think it's Sisters, where one of them's a bit of a party animal. I remember that. It was quite funny. But also, if I've got it right, I think it's Our House with Will Ferrell. That was hilarious. That was mental. They wanted to take their daughter for college. I've actually ordered that on Blu-ray, so that'll come. But yeah, I just remembered it, and I just thought that film was great. It's so over the top and crazy. They want their daughter to go to college, but they can't afford the tuition fee. something happened where something happens to their money, and it just obliterated, you know. So they had to come up with some drastic decision, and they ended up creating this like gambling den. It's illegal gambling situation, and then they just started becoming a bit like mobsters, you know, because the powers get into them and they're crazy. And Will Ferrell's nuts in general. Anyway, that film just gets out of hand quite quick. Great film. So I do remember in that. I know she's been in other films, but anyway, we're just going to see now. So let's just start with. We'll start with this one, then we'll go over to a couple of others. I'm going to show another guest in a minute because he was really interesting. Watching these two in unison, one after another, this guest and the other guest, great characters. Anyway, so this is Steve Carell from many things.
Oh yeah, that was a hot spot. Houlihan's.
Houlihan's on Division.
Yeah. I mean, it was so fun back then.
It was.
To be in that city. That city felt like it was, I don't know, maybe just because I was young when I was there, but it felt like something was crackling and happening. I mean, when you think back about those Chicago times, what comes up for you? I mean, it's such youthful, exuberant, enthusiastic times, but what feelings and thoughts come up for you?
I think, well, like all of the things we learned in class at Second City, having that freedom to fail, and there were very few constraints in terms of what you could try.
Yeah.
And at Second City itself, it was the same thing. Like being on stage every night and working it out and figuring, you know, that audience is such a great barometer.
Yeah.
And if you're not doing it well or right, they'll tell you.
Yeah.
You'll feel it. And it was so much fun.
So much fun. And
this gets really good though. I mean, I know some bits might seem dry, but there's bits when it's funny, but it's also you get a real deep understanding of their path through the industry, you know, and how they started off, and how people do reminisce about their roots. You know, you don't forget where you come from. That's really what it is. There's something funny earlier, and I just don't know where it's going to be. Of course, I think it's Stephen Colbert was at the beginning. They just asked about because she does this little intro thing where she talks to people who know them beforehand. But there was something quite interesting. I think it's this because he's laughing. I read it's that.
On. And you always kind of keep tabs like, well, who's next? Who are the who are the up and comers?
Yeah.
And you were definitely one of those people.
You were in that class of people that number one were
visiting him, and we were doing a little
Steve
cast, and your mom said you should be on print. I mostly changed.
Yeah. Where did you go to college?
Denison, you know.
An actor?
I'm not going to be able to find it, but there's a bit where he said about when I think he was back in Boston, and so, I think it's Boston. I don't know if it's Boston or Chicago now. And they told him, "Don't get too big for your boots." And it was really funny. But anyway, you have to watch it. It was really, really, really good. But that was really great, and I really enjoyed the whole episode of that. That was about just over an hour. I loved it from start to finish. Then we got Jack Black, and he's just great too. It's both energy, so that's like 2 hours worth of viewing right there.
Love it. Let me tell you something.
Let's talk about our CPAP machines.
My CPAP machine was a game changer.
Changed my life.
And
These are them oxygen machines you have when you go to bed. Some people have them in their sleep. Of course, the wealthy people definitely have good ones, and they've got that. But I haven't got that, of course. But yeah, they do, and they're really excited about discussing it.
Now I can't sleep without it.
Never want to.
Well, I can take a nap, like I took a nap at SNL.
Yeah.
This is funny.
To do that, I have to go kind of like Elephant Man, where I get so many pillows that I'm almost sitting up. But it's the only way, because if I lay down flat, I might die. I don't know. I wake up with like horrible like headaches and nightmares.
And the
like
driest
wake
mouth.
up before you die, nightmare.
I wish we could bring out our sleep things, our CPAPs
I know
right
that would
now.
be funny to look at us.
I know.
It's really interesting to hear them though, because you get to hear about the vulnerabilities. They're very open. So Steve Carell explained that he's an introvert. You think he's an extrovert, you know, because he's quite dynamic and wild, but he's not. He's actually very reserved. So he's not the life of the party all the time, and he can be quite shy. That's quite interesting. And then with Jack Black, he has insecurities as well, whether he's going to be able to perform as good as he wants to. So he's quite self-critical in that sense, and he can get himself a bit nervous ahead of time. So I thought that's really, really cool. And then Amy Poehler, because it's the way it's written, I don't know how you pronounce it. And she explains that she's similar to like that as well. But anyway, that's what we're getting from them two. And I think she's a great host. I think she brings out the most important thing, I think, with all of this is the energy she brings out of other people. If you've got guest after guest after guest, they're excited, they're opening up to her, they're talking. Of course, they'll know her. That's really the overriding thing. They've all got a story attached to her, for at least the ones I've watched. That's good. But again, if you see people are relaxed, they're enjoying themselves, that's really because the host has made it comfortable, So I've subscribed. I don't subscribe to everybody, but I've subscribed. Now, she does have a lot of followers, 700,000 subscribers, so, not too far off a million, so I can't see it taking too long to get there with the guests she's got. The one that surprised me, and it was at 50-something thousand, has it gone up yet? I don't know. So, look, Paul Rudd as well. I haven't done that one yet. Jennifer Lawrence. So she gets some really big guests. Yeah, so we'll have to go. This is really fun. This episode was great. So they've only got 58,000 subscribers. That you could say only, but Jason Alexander is one of my favourite comedic TV show actors. Now, he's done movies and does theatre and all sorts, but him as George Costanza, for me, he was brilliant. I loved Seinfeld growing up in my teens. I absolutely loved Seinfeld. I got a DVD box set, and it was always George Costanza. They're all narcissistic in that show, so they're always self-serving. They don't really care about anyone else but themselves. They're quite nasty people, really, but they come together as this friend group who get along together. So they've almost got that common denominator. They're all just similar, but in their own unique way. Yeah, Michael, is it Michael Richards? I might have his name wrong. The one that's quite eccentric. He's all big and he's crazy, and you think he stands out as a big, like, one of the big focal points. But for me, it was always George Costanza. So every time I watch Seinfeld, I'm always just amused by him because he gets himself. It's almost like the writers decided anything that's wild, crazy, unrealistic, it wouldn't happen. Give it to George. So give it to Jason Alexander and let him go on and run with that. And so he always got the craziest storylines, and he was a great character. And of course, he's appeared in other films like Shallow Hal, Dunstan Checks In. I can't remember. I don't really know many other films he's in, but I'm always happily surprised when I see him. So I'm like, this guy's great. So if I'd known he had a podcast like this years ago, I would have been watching it because he's great. Now they do talk over their guest a little bit, so they all have their own little way of being. But the one thing I do notice again is that the guests are quite relaxed. In this one, we're going with Wayne Knights. This is the one that plays Newman in. So if anyone familiar with Seinfeld, you've got Newman, who I think he lives downstairs. He lives underneath them. I don't think he lives on the same floor. He's the mailman, but he has a lot of say, I think, about who gets to live in the area or something. I can't remember exact way. Well, I'm sure it is because when someone moves out, he gets a lot of power over who gets the room, or at least the influences. But yeah, he's a crazy one in that. He's great. And then you see him in other films. Again, you see like Jurassic Park. He's the one that's all clumsy fumbling in the very original film. I think he had his coffee cup with him and whatnot, and he gets attacked by that crazy dinosaur as he gets in the car because he fumbles around. And it's a funny scene. I still think it's great, and I can imagine it now and laugh about it because I think he loses his glasses or something. I'm sure that's what happens because he falls near the car when he's trying to get it wedged. He's trying to get the winch. He tries to get the winch, I think, to try and get the pickup truck to move, and then he gets in the car, and then that big one that flaps its that's that expanding thing, doesn't it? And it does that as it's about to spit shit all over him. It's just I'm laughing because I just remember it all, and it's just mental. And what a funny guy. And now you listen to his story. It's incredible episode. This is like the life a lot of these actors have. Not all of them, of course, but some of them have had like crazy journeys to their fame, to their opportunity. And he used to be a private investigator for about 4 or 5 years. And I don't want to spoil it because he's so funny. It's such a great story and everything around it. Great guest, a lot of charisma. Again, this is what I'm talking about. Like these shows, they bring out the best in people, but they get some great guests because of their status and the people they know. So this one, I would say, definitely follow this one. This one's been great. I've watched this one with, like I said, Newman. I've seen Bryan Cranston. I love Bryan Cranston. Anyone seen my physical media website? He's in my top 10 actors of all time. Well, I would consider the best actors of all time. In fact, I don't want to digress too far. Wait a minute. So this is my physical media website. I just really want to do it just to pay homage to Bryan Cranston. I think he's incredible. So this is my top 10 actors that I would consider best actors. It's not about who's the most popular. I think when they're performing, you just go, wow. The range they have, the way they bring out the best in their character, the emotions, everything they do. That's not necessarily what's box office. It's like who's incredible. And you'll see Bryan Cranston at number 4. So who do I think's above Bryan Cranston? He's incredible. Sean Penn. I mean, it's a toss-up between them, really, but Sean Penn can really be great, can't he? Any of the films he does. Johnny Depp, of course, and Denzel Washington. There's not many above him, So that's how much. So watching him, it's like, oh my God, you're getting him on as well. It's crazy. But anyway, let's see Newman. Great.
He was a private investigator. Because
Well, there you go.
know it. Really know. You're the one that's finding out.
When is this going to go digital?
They're finding out. They're finding out.
Do you really think the analog bell works? I think it's old-fashioned.
You know what? I give it for him. But
Just
private
a little-
investigator. Were you a good
something to play with.
Were you a good private investigator?
Oh no, but the thing is, here's the thing. So I'm an actor, right? And I did a Broadway show, and one of my castmates, we're young, we're in our 20s. So when you crap out after that, you still crap out.
Right.
You think this is going to be a continuum, and I'm going to last forever. And,
Yes.
So I didn't want to wait tables again. I'd been on Broadway and stuff, and I had a friend. He says, "Oh, I got a great job." I go, "Yeah, what do you do?" He goes, I'm a private investigator." I go, "What? You don't have any criminology background. You never were a policeman. You don't know anything about this." He goes, "That's right." I go, well, who would hire you? These people. I go, why would they hire you? He said, "They like actors." I go, "Why do they like actors?" "They're not upwardly mobile. They don't want a full-time job, and they're totally unscrupulous." I'm like, "That's correct.
That's me.
That's me."
And
They're willing to lie about themselves ad infinitum. I've been building resumes my entire life. So why not just build an entire character that was fake and then walk in a door? And that's what I wound up doing. And I did it on phone, and I did it in person. And I talked to admirals, heads of industry, senators, getting references on people. I found out that somebody had been in a mental hospital the previous summer, and they were trying to get a job as a startup engineer at a nuclear plant.
That's a sitcom pitch. That's a sitcom pitch. Oh my God.
Then I'm like so proud of myself. I go, and he was and he had shock therapy and everything. Then the phone rings, and it's the candidate, the guy who's trying to get the job.
Oh my God.
And he goes, "I'm so thankful to you. I've been hoping that a headhunter would come around. Nobody's ever had any interest in me. For 2 years, I haven't been able to get a job. My family is about to go under."
Oh my God. Oh Wayne. Oh my God. Oh Wayne.
He's got so much energy. It's crazy. Yeah. Anyway, that's crazy. But more he talks about that nuclear power plant thing or a nuclear facility, it just reminds you of Homer Simpson, doesn't it? It's crazy. But anyway, so we've got these podcasts, totally different energies, different auras and whatnot, but it's still great because they're a bit more rambunctious, I guess. At least it brings it out because, it's their personalities. I think Amy's a bit more calmer, it's soulful, I guess. But it's nice, isn't it? You get that different dynamic. And then the other one is someone who's huge. He's probably got millions of followers at this point. But again, we're not talking about the fact that someone's little, someone's small. It's the quality of their work, So because I was going to talk about one, I've got 3 that I actually just gravitate to recently. And it's been a breath of fresh air amongst a lot of the stuff I'm trying to get away from because I'm sick and tired of listening to sports people talk on podcasts. They're dry, they're boring. They repeat the same shit. I can't listen to these people anymore. So as soon as some people just want to, continue to try and be famous from something that has a limited lifespan, it just like harking on to the past, isn't it? It's like, come on, we've got to move forward. And it's like, it's no relevance. These people I'm finding interesting. It's not because they're famous. It's because they've got interesting stories that got them to where they're going, So let's listen to the way he was telling his story. You don't have to be famous to tell that story. If that's your life, if you've got an interesting life, that's interesting to listen to, isn't it? But yeah, he's quite animating. He's very, very hilarious. So anyway, who's next? We've got Amy Schumer. I can't remember her name. Schumer, is it? And then we've got, this one's called Really No Really Podcast. And that's Jason Alexander. Oh, it says it at the back there. Jason Alexander and Peter Tilden. I'm not familiar with him, but they seem to balance each other quite well. And I think sometimes you get that, these people that just balance each other. And then the next one is Conan. I love Conan. I've always liked Conan. I used to see. I'm not American, of course. I don't get live access to late night TV stations in America and stuff. But I saw so many of his shows in bits and things, and I used to love it. I love his energy. He always comes across as a very sincere person. He's very quick-witted. I just find it interesting but fun and self-deprecating, and I like that. If you can laugh at yourself, you can poke fun at yourself when you've got a flaw and all that. That's better than someone with an ego trying to act like they're perfect. But anyway, I think he's great. This episode, I think I've shown briefly before. It's got Harrison Ford, but he's had so many guests. The one with Al Pacino was really funny as well, like really good. Even Goldie Hawn, she was on talking about her relationship to Kurt Russell and how they met, and that was interesting. More serious, less humour, but it was still funny. I mean, not funny, it was still interesting. And he's had loads of guests, but we'll just jump in here. I'm not sure where we are. I just picked a piece.
I'm in Washington, D.C. for the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and I'm going to be up there on the dais with Clinton. I've never met Harrison Ford, and I'm on an elevator door that's closing, and all I'm nervous about, how's my set going to go on this thing? Elevator doors are closing, and I've talked about this on the show years ago. Elevator doors closing when I hear a voice say, "Hold the elevator," and I'm thinking, I really got to get upstairs. The door's 2/3 closed, so I don't really try to hit the button when the iconic face of Harrison Ford appears in between the two closing doors and looks right at me, and the door's shut. And I, all the way up to my room, which is on the 8th floor, shit myself the whole way up.
That's what propelled the elevator up.
Yeah, the elevator was not functioning, but it was propelled purely by my... it was a horrifying moment for me. And I apologize again. We recreated the moment on the air. You can see it online, where I asked you to... let's recreate the moment, and you gave this amazing death stare into the camera, and we had two elevator doors close on it, and I felt the same trauma all over again.
That's how he remembers your name, like Jerry Tchaikovsky.
I'm sorry, Harrison. I could have probably... It was a horrible moment for me, and I'm glad that you've come here.
I come here as a friend.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So it's all past. You're not gonna...
No,
you bear no ill will.
No. You're no Jerry Tchaikovsky.
That's the nicest thing anybody's ever said to me.
So here's the deal. The last time I saw Jerry Tchaikovsky was
Jesus, you are obsessed.
Listen, in that office on Gower. 15 years later, I'm sitting in the executive dining room at Warner Brothers, and a waiter came over to me in the middle of my meal and on a little tray, and there was a little white card on it. I'd never seen that before, and he proffered the tray.
Mm-hmm.
I picked up the card. It said, Jerry Tchaikovsky, Vice President, blah, 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 whatever. I looked at it, and I looked around the room, and everybody looked like Jerry Tchaikovsky. And I turned it over, and on the back, handwritten, was a little note that said, I missed my guess.
Wow.
He was guessing.
Yeah. But I give people credit for acknowledging. He acknowledged that
I thought so.
That's talking about someone who bit disrespectful to him earlier in his career, but he hasn't forgiven him. But anyway, yeah. So that's more of a dry episode if you're going to do that. I mean, to get the idea, you got Bryan Cranston there, you got Ben Stiller. I mean, Al Pacino, even Al Pacino. He come on. These are always clips. That's the problem with this show. It doesn't show you full episodes. It just shows you clips. It's all about clips. I don't know where you see the full thing.
actor, terrible super.
Christopher Walken, bad mechanic. Robert De Niro, just awful substitute teacher.
So I think in this episode, they actually took in that bit there in the context. It's talking about the roles, the jobs people have had before they become superstars.
It's like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? These are.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Let's start from the beginning there a little bit. We're not going to play the whole thing, of course.
And it grabs you, and you start seeing some productions. You get into theater. You have so many go nowhere jobs just to stay alive. I mean, you're delivering papers. You're building superintendent for a while, but not a good one. I don't think.
Never. The guy came out and started talking about me a few years back.
Yeah.
Saying he was a terrible super or something like that. Why? Why would he say that?
Yeah, and it's
who's
also...
a terrible super? I'm sure there's a lot around. I mean,
No, I saw that. There's a really old.
So at this point, of course, Al Pacino's a huge movie star. So many films. Why would you bring up his past before he was a film star now? Because he's been a movie star for so long, you wouldn't even talk about anything from way before. And then someone's come out in the news or the public, whatever, and it's just he's still moaning about the fact that he was a terrible super when he was a super. That was look how old he is now. It's like at what point of his life was that? That's crazy. How is that even relevant today? Like it's his job anymore or something? It's crazy.
Old man who was like, I remember him. He was a terrible super. And I'm like, okay, take his Oscar back.
I know.
Take
Fine
away
actor, terrible super.
But like I say, I think between these three shows, like I think they're great. There might be more that I'll come across. There was one I was debating, not too sure. There's one with the Office people, someone from the Office. But so far, I've only seen them with Office-related people. I mean, it was a good episode with Bryan Cranston that he did, but I haven't seen enough to say that I would highly recommend at this point. I mean, I could shout it out just to show the variations. Let me just pause it and I'll try and find a Bryan Cranston. Okay, so this is really good. This is like a little acting lesson they do in this. I had to go and search through their page to actually find this specific video. I hate when people do clips. So if you're searching through their videos, some of them are clips. I hate all that. You're just trying to find the full. I've got an attention span where I can actually watch it all. I don't like to see 3 minutes here, 2 minutes here. It's like, it's just annoying. It's fragmented. This is interesting. See, this episode specifically, he started talking to Bryan Cranston. Then he's saying, right, we're going to do a little bit of improv. So we're going to do, there's going to be there's a little story to this. It's someone that's going to pretend, I might be able to just get him to explain it. I'll just quickly do it because I remember it. So the point is you're going to put a fresh, I think it's a baguette or something or a roll. You put it in the oven. You need to get it out the oven, but it's poisoned. And it's going to kill your wife who's ill or something like that, Or was it kill yourself? I can't remember the plan. It was either kill yourself or kill your wife because someone's ill or something. So it's just like a horrible life. This isn't worth. So he's going to perform it, and then Bryan Cranston has to do it next. And I kid you not, Bryan Cranston, it just shows levels. When I just said he's like one of my top 5, there's a reason. You just watch the differences. Let's not put. Is it Rainn? Oh yeah, Rainn Wilson. So like he's great in The Office, but it's just
There it is. Vive la France, the bread of life. So we're going to act. We're going to take this very seriously. We're going to do the very best acting we can do. Otto the baker pulling a poisoned baguette from a bakery oven. And we're going to say the lines, there it is, Vive la France, the bread of life. And at one point in time, we're going to consider eating the baguette ourselves. Okay? All right. On scene. Here we go. There it is. Vive la France. scene. Boom.
Wow.
Top that, Cranston.
That was.
The banter's good. Now, obviously, it's I think it's harder to go the first time because you've got no reference points. So we do have to think about that. You can probably get your imagination going. But this is where you can see that was good enough. Watch how good Bryan Cranston is at this.
Those are the 3 lines in case I wrote them down in my scrawl right there. Okay, top that.
Several things I noticed about.
Okay, you want to talk about the performance first?
Well, no, I don't know if we should. Maybe we should just go in.
Why don't you do yours and then we can break it down and analyze it.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes, there it is. Vive la France, the bread of life.
Yeah. Okay. I did a lot of miming. You don't have to do all that miming if you don't want. Whatever you want. Action.
Ooh. There it is. Vive la France. The bread of life.
So the first one's take is almost like you better kill yourself. I can't remember. I don't think he did. But in Bryan's Cranston's version, he's like, you know what? We'll just rather than you have to die because the other person's it's a huge burden for both of you. Why not just kill the problem? So what a twisted take. And you can see Rainn Wilson's like, wow.
Oh, darling.
And scene. Damn it.
What? You thought
You topped me, Cranston. That's better. It's just better.
No, I don't know if it's better.
Yeah, it's more nuanced. The miming was way better. And
I'm going to pause it there on purpose, purposely. I mean, I probably the best picture there because I want people to go and look. This isn't about me trying to draw attention to myself. It's drawing attention to these podcasts because this is what I watch now. You know, in moderation, of course. And I am picky about who the guests are. If it's someone I'm not interested in, someone I find annoying, I'll just skip it. I'm not going to just watch every single episode just because the hosts are good. Like I said, with this one, I really enjoyed this episode with Bryan Cranston, but then I've seen some other episodes that I'm not really enamored with. So it's really, I'm trying to decide. I mean, I've subscribed for now, but it's just really whether if I have to keep skipping too many, then obviously there's no point subscribing, is there? So we could say there's 4 potentially I like at the moment, and it's just an interesting avenues, you know. But anyway, they're the 4 I've got at the moment. If I've got more in the future, I'll wait until I've totted them up. I'm probably, unless something stands out as incredible on its own, then I'm not really going to do that. But yeah, because I do want to get some more promotional stuff, you know, to promote other people. Because, you know, I think everybody has a platform. Everybody can share something they find interesting. You know, if you create content, it doesn't take long just to be generous and just with our time, you know. And that's really what my intention is. I've got a featured section on my channel, on my YouTube channel, and it'll be people that I think deserve a bit of recognition, really. It's not going to be all the time. It's quite rare. So it has to be people I think, yeah, that's great. That's great. So hopefully, like with this one specifically, hopefully it gives people others to look for, you know. I think these are great channels.